And Game of Thrones is setting up to end in disaster. What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to talk about Game of Thrones and why such hate and backlash and complaints online. If you are a big fan of the show and you have been watching the show and if you've been around my channel, I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan. I was super excited for season 8. I think it started off kind of strong and it just went downhill, you know, and this is coming from a person that defended season 7, you know, even though I saw the problems, people were just teleporting from one place to the other, but I was still there hanging on and say they're going to do a great job, this is going to end amazing, but right now I am very, very disappointed with the direction of the show. I am actually fuming with the last episode. There were so many problems with it. And you know, if you haven't been around and you don't know what I'm talking about, all you have to do is just take a look at Game of Thrones YouTube channel. If you go Game of Thrones season 8 episode 5, the inside episode has right now 80,000 dislike versus 42,000 likes. So it's almost double of the people that is also kind of on the same page. And if you go anywhere around Twitter, people are raging because character arcs, you know, basically for me the show is being completely ruined right now. I don't even know how they can come back from this. And so why? Well, the first thing that is obvious is because they rushed everything, you know. What they were trying to pull off on this latest episode needed more time and needed more character development. For me, the biggest issue, the biggest bummer, and the biggest like what the F was Daenerys, you know. Daenerys, people can say, oh my god, she lost this, she lost that. I know she lost that, but she did lose a lot of other stuff as well early in seasons, you know. She lost an unborn child, you know, remember that. She lost, you know, her husband. She lost so many other things. Why couldn't she snap earlier or had at least some hints? You know, foreshadowing is not the same as character building, you know. We always knew that she was ruthless. She always did, like, she was very, you know, I'm going to kill my enemies, as she did that, but she always had a kind heart, you know. She put her dragons away because, you know, they killed a kid, and her dragons are one of the most important things in her life, you know. She killed all the master who crucified a bunch of kids. Remember that scene on Every Single Mile? There was a crucified kid. So all of that stuff was pretty much justified, you know. She's always been very ruthless, but she was never cruel. She was never, you know, targeting civilians. Or her descent into madness, it would have been a very incredible plot twist, but it cannot just be done within 2 episodes, you know. I mean, 3 weeks ago we see this woman risking her entire army to go fight the dead. I mean, if she was that crazy and that insane, why would she even bother to you know, even participate in a war like that she had nothing to gain from, you know? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if they really wanted to go with this route, the foreshadow earlier, all the other stuff that she said, it was not enough to make this a satisfying twist. It was basically everything that they wrote in this latest episode. Not only this, but even the last one, it was just stupid. Like, the way they kill Rhaegal, it was dumb. In one season you have the dragons being so vulnerable, and the other one you have Drogo being absolutely invulnerable. Like, how does that make any sense? How does that make any sense that you're flying up in the air and you don't even see anything? Oh yeah, and guess what? Dumb and Dumber's excuse is that she kind of forgot Euron's fleet. Are you kidding me? You're in the middle of war and you don't send anyone in front to scout the area? Like, this is just stupid. So after season 3, you know, after the war of the Long Night, all these characters, they became so dumb and they're just doing stupid decisions one after the other. So my biggest gripe with this, it was Daenerys, and it was so poorly represented in this latest episode. Like, her turning into mad is not what made me mad, but the execution. This is Luke Skywalker, Jake Skywalker all over again. This, to me, watching this latest episode, I feel the same way I felt after The Last Jedi. I cannot believe that they could mess this this up in this manner. You know, every single character is just pretty much ruined. Okay, if you're just watching the show for the pure sake of entertainment, you probably don't even care about any of these things, because I give you this, it was extremely entertaining. The cinematography was one of the best I've ever seen in TV. You know, props to the crews. The acting was what saved the show. You know, Emilia Clarke, Lena, what's her name? Cersei, you know, Jamie, all of them they were like, the acting was incredible, but what the characters were doing and their decisions, it was just planted there, and you could totally see how rushed it is. Like the characters, the dialogue is atrocious, and it was just like, it was so cringy. I was like, I cannot believe this. So then we have Daenerys going mad like this in a split second because of the stupid bells, and everything that she's making doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. Her gripes was always with Cersei. Why would she not just fly straight to Cersei and destroy the Red Keep, and maybe from there she would get a little bloodthirsty and kill everybody? It would make way more sense than what she did, because she knows Cersei because of Tyrion. She knows that Cersei doesn't care about the people that live there. So what's the point of her going around and burning the city like that? It doesn't make any sense. 2 weeks ago she was fighting for the living, and now are you gonna tell me because Missandei died and because Rhaegal died that she was gonna flip like this, and because Jon didn't want to give her some? Just pissed off. I am just pissed off at this show right now, that the more I talk about it, the more I'm fuming. It's so frustrating to see them, you know, murder a character like that. You know, it would have been so interesting to see her going Mad Queen, but we needed the process. You cannot just flip a character like this and expect people to just love it. I hated it. So the second thing that it was just the worst, Varys. I mean, isn't Varys supposed to be the master of whisperers, the spider? How come he just turned so idiotic like that? That he's plotting against Daenerys, even under her, like right there, staying there. Why didn't he go away like he did when he was, you know, he didn't want to support Cersei anymore? You know, why would he be doing that while he's there? Like, he's supposed to be the master of whisperers. It's just so stupid. I don't get it. And then you have Tyrion kind of betraying him, which doesn't make much sense. You know, Tyrion was the one, he's only alive because of Varys. But you know what? I was pissed off that Varys turned on Daenerys so easily as well. Doesn't make much sense because, you know, first of all, he believed in her, and the show didn't show Daenerys doing anything prior to this for him to turn on her. Basically just heard, oh, Jon has a claim, so I'm going with Jon. Basically that's what's it. It's just the lack of time, of care in the writing is just, it was disgraceful, to be honest. And then my other gripes with this show, Tyrion characterization is just went from brilliant to stupid. You know, every single advice he gave Daenerys was dumb and stupid. You know, he was the character that could always see 2-3 steps ahead, and Cersei is the one that is just pretty much outsmarting him. What? I mean, his one gift is his mind. I'm just so frustrated. And then let's look at Jon. Jon became a side character. Like ever since the Long Night, for instance, what has Jon been doing? Absolutely nothing. First they get Jon not having anything to do with the Night King, okay? Arya kills the Night King. I don't care that she killed the Night King, but I think the scene itself was cool, you know, she did the whole thing. That's fine, but the execution, it just doesn't make any sense. She had no history with the Night King. That should have been Jon. It would have been satisfying if it was Jon, or at least if they had a one-on-one fight. No, not even that. Not even a fight with the other commanders. You know, the other, like, how cool would have seen Brianna fighting one of the Night King commanders. We didn't have that. And then Arya goes there for the sake of subverting expectations. This is just, this Dumb and Dumber are just getting worse and worse and worse. It, like, there is an interview where George R.R. Martin talks about subverting expectations and things for the shock value. For instance, and he says that if you just do things for shock value, for the sake of shock value, for subverting expectations, you're just gonna you're just gonna piss off your audience. You need a build up. It needs to be logical. Like, if you go back, that's why I loved Game of Thrones to begin with. Like, if you go back to season 1, when Ned Stark lost his head, you could, you know, he was dumb because he wanted to actually give Cersei a chance, and he didn't see steps ahead, and that's where started the whole Game of Thrones. So it makes sense that he would lose his head, even though it pissed me off. I could not be here ranting about it because it made sense, because he was being stupid. You know, he should have been more smart. He should have been smarter when it comes to, you know, the throne and things like that. And then you go back to Robb, you know, Robb and the Red Wedding. Every single step, every single decision that Robb made led him to his demise. You know, he didn't listen to his mom. He killed a Karstark guy, and then, you know, he broke his promise to Frey, which was not a good idea. And then not only that, goes to the damn wedding. You know, I was already before, I was like, and I hadn't read the books by then, and I was like, why are you going to the wedding? You know, you shouldn't even go there. It was just, so it makes sense that that would happen, even though it pisses us off, but it's logical. But this whole thing, the characters are just shifting like this, and it's just, there is no character development anymore. It's just for the sake of shock value. Like, you're gonna tell me that Daenerys, the same person that was risked her half of her army and her dragons, two episodes ago, is now just crazy and killing, like committing genocide for what? What triggered her? It doesn't make any sense. What's the deal with the bells? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, what did they say? She kind of made it personal. If she had made it personal, she would have flew straight to Cersei. Her gripes was with Cersei. Her hate was towards Cersei, not the people. It doesn't make any sense. It was the only reason it was done. It's because, you know, they wanted to get there. Perhaps that's what George told them, but they didn't even bother to create a process for us to get there. Even her relationship with Jon was rushed too. They didn't have that many scenes together, so we can really get a sense when, you know, now that they're kind of breaking apart, it would break your heart even more. You know, how many scenes have they got together? Just whatever. What else that happened is this damn episode. To me, this latest episode was the last straw. Like Euron, for instance. Euron, what's the point of his fight with Jaime? That was just so dumb, so stupid. Like, he just happens to get out of the beach at the very same spot that Jaime is, and not only that, he just goes, "Oh, I slept with your sister," and they start fighting. Like, it was just like, are you kidding me? And you want to talk about reality of wars, that wars are not happy, and this is the scene you give us? These two guys are on the same side, and Euron, you know, it's one of the worst characters ever, but he's the kind of guy that he only worries about himself. Why would he waste his time into a fight like that? It doesn't make any sense. And then he breaks the fourth wall, staring at the camera saying, "I killed Jaime Lannister." It was so anticlimactic. And Jaime, what's the deal with Jaime? So he basically just slept with Brienne, and, you know, after all that incredible character arc, the show was so brilliant in making us hate Jaime and then kind of love him, because we found out that his Kingslayer name was because he was actually saving the people, because the Kingslayer wanted to burn people alive. So all of that, it was thrown out of the trash because it doesn't matter. You know, it was never about that. He was always the worst guy, you know, and he goes back to Cersei. And again, Cersei, 8 seasons we have been seeing this monster doing worse things over and over and over and over and over. And what happens at the end? Well, guess what? Let's subvert your expectations, and she's not the big baddie, it's actually Daenerys. And they not only humanize her, kind of make you feel sad for Cersei, the monster, and she died in the arms of her brother. And it is so anticlimactic. It was just so frustrating, so frustrating. What else? Then you have Grey Worm going bananas as well. To me, also didn't make much sense. You know, I know he was out for blood, and Missandei, he was mad, but the Unsullied had a certain training that it doesn't make sense. Like, they're not really bloodthirsty, you know. But yeah, he initiated it all, and it kind of made him look bad as well. But I wouldn't mind that as much as I minded the way that they did with Dany, because, you know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And Arya was also pretty much useless, you know, in this episode. She was just there so we could follow her around. It's so disappointing, to the point. I'll tell you this. That's the reason why people are just so pissed off. It's all this execution, all these things that, all this build up, and you're like, we don't want to be hating this. We want to be like talking about this. I wanted to buy the Blu-ray. I was actually expecting to buy the Blu-ray because I thought it was going to be epic, and I was not expecting a happy ending. I mean, this is Game of Thrones, come on. But I was expecting to be logical. I was expecting it to make sense. I was expecting to be satisfying at that level. It makes sense. You know, they keep promising us a bittersweet end, and I was like, I wonder what that's going to be. Like, so far everything is just bitter, and not only bitter, it's not logical, it's just crazy. Characters are just turning like this. Like, if I see an alien in the next episode, I'm not even going to be surprised. That's how bad it got, you know. That's how bad it got. It's just, you know, the writing, like the dialogue used to be so brilliant, it used to be so interesting, and now the show just became a spectacle, you know. Yes, it was beautifully shot, I give you that. The crew did an incredible job, the actors did an incredible job, but the writing sucked. It sucked big time, you know, to the point that right now I wish the Dead had won. I wish the Night King would the one to win it all, because what's the point of all of this? What's the point of Jon Snow? What's the point of Jon Snow if he does nothing? All he does is just stare at Dany. Doesn't, like, he was not even there to help her when she needed the most, and he keeps claiming that he loves her. This is how all the characters are being written right now. Like, can you realize that you can actually list all 4 sentences that he has been repeating this entire season? You are my queen, I don't want it. You are my queen, what else? And I don't want it. You know, that's pretty much what Jon Snow has been saying back and forth to Daenerys. Where is the dialogue? Where is the intelligent dialogue? It's just not enough. It's not enough, you know. And of course, because it's rushed, because D&D don't care anymore, you know. They probably got over Game of Thrones, you know. They're just I don't know, they're just took a piss all over it. That's to me what happened. And the inconsistency of the powers of the dragons, for instance, you know, Drogon was ballistic, and he went crazy, like he was so unbeatable. All of this could have happened 8 years ago, like not 8 years ago, but at least when Drogon was big enough. I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense, you know. They made her look so good and doing so many good things, and if they had kind of set her up at least earlier on doing something against civilians, it would probably make more sense. Like, if you, even the prequels, if you look back at Anakin Skywalker, even the prequels, despite all the hate the prequels got, did a better job at setting up Anakin's turning into Darth Vader than this, because Anakin, at least, remember the scene where his mom died and he goes back to that village and he kills everybody, and he tells Padme, I did not kill only the kids, but the women and the children too. And that's like, what? You know what I mean? There's nothing like that. Daenerys have never seen doing anything against people that didn't do anything against her. Oh my goodness, it's just the execution is atrocious, and it makes me very sad. I mean, coffee cups of Starbucks coffee cups left on the table, you know, it's sad. It's very, very sad. So that's why people are mad, you know. That's why, and that's not only it, there's other stuff as well. To me, the only thing that was a little bit enjoyable was the Clegane Bowl, you know. It was kind of sad to see the Hound go, but at least it was kind of, I would say it was a good death right there, you know. He took his brother out in a very cool way. Also, I did enjoy the way that he said goodbye to Arya. But other than that, the episode itself didn't make any sense. Any freaking sense. All the characters are just dumb. The writing is just so stupid. It's a disaster. But anyways, guys, those are my feelings about Game of Thrones. I read the spoilers already. And I'm just waiting to see if it's going to turn out to be true. And this is, I'm not going to say anything here, so don't worry. But they're all over YouTube, and they're all over Reddit, they're all over Twitter as well. People are talking about it, because when I first read it, to me it was like, this sounds like fan fiction. There's no way that this was going to be true, but everything that was leaked for episode 4 turned out to be true. So that means that it's very likely that what is out there, it's actually the truth, which is so unsatisfying. It's just so disappointed. Even if George had the intention to, you know, have Dany become completely mad had the intention to, you know, everything that he had the intention, if this is where we were gonna get to, I'm pretty sure he would do a great job at setting it up. You know, like he said it himself, you cannot just flip like that. It just doesn't make sense. It just makes people pissed off. But anyways, guys, drop your comments below and let me know, why do you think people are so mad at the latest season of Game of Thrones? Drop your comments below. Let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye.